wait, you all are here for some van life tips. All right, let's do it. Well, tip number one, if you're gonna talk to somebody, turn the fan off. Even if it's 110 out. I think it's actually only 108, so I exaggerated. Lights. Looks halfway decent. Not the best, not the worst. All right, so van life tips. I guess the best place to start is the type of van you should get. If you're a van lifer, want to be a van lifer, thinking about van life, there's pretty much one thing you need to be a van lifer: a van. Now, I'm not going to dive into like, should you get a ProMaster or this, or, you know, build out something like that for a later video. But for this video, just know that you need to pick a good enough van. What a good enough van is essentially a van that you can afford, that you feel comfortable living out of, you're willing to take outside, willing to take off-road, willing to take somewhere and use. Biggest tip, Wi-Fi. If you plan on working remotely or just doing something normal, like on the internet, and yet you head out into the woods, you can't do anything, you're kind of screwed if you don't have Wi-Fi. So 3 options for you. First one, conveniently not set up right now, is Starlink. I actually really like Starlink. I got Starlink about 2 years ago, year and a half ago at this point. I got it in 2022 and it was a massive game changer. So your other options is to hotspot and to go to cafes or libraries. The reason Starlink was a game changer is because it allowed me to stop wasting money on gas and stop buying so much coffee that I didn't need to buy. And also it made my phone bill go down. So Starlink, you essentially $150 a month. I think it's $700 to buy at the beginning, which is expensive. Don't get me wrong, it is expensive, but it's pretty nice once you get it. You literally put it on your roof. I think it has a 150-foot cable, so you can take that as far as you want and just drop it off. But it allows you to work remotely. It allows you to literally, if you want to hang out and watch Netflix or just peruse the internet. Maybe you're an influencer and you need to upload a video, or, you know, coders. I know a couple of people that code and they use Starlink to access the internet. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Your other option is to hotspot. You know, pros and cons of hotspotting. I did it for 5 years and it worked great. I just had an unlimited plan and just used it. As a photographer, it worked great. I was able to send files to clients. I never really needed to send anything bigger than about 2-ish gigabytes. I think sometimes I had some that were like 4, but then I would just send them in like on WeTransfer for like 2 gigabyte deals. Not that big of a deal, but kind of looks tacky. And then the last option is you go to a cafe, but those are always hit or miss. And I used to just always go to Starbucks because that was the most straightforward. Like, it's consistent, you know what you're going to get. But then you're leaving and going and getting the thing, like going to the cafe and getting Wi-Fi and then coming back. And I was never a big fan of that. So definitely happy that I swapped up to Starlink. The next one, tip number 3, camp in cool places. Cities, they suck. There's no way around it. Like BLM land and things of that sort can't and shouldn't be utilized because those are honestly the most rad places that you can go. Some national parks are pretty sweet for van life. Just depends. Like Joshua Tree, if you get one of those campsites, like they're like 15 or $20 and stay there for 2 weeks and just be in the mecca of climbing. That's always rad. Yeah, I mean, I think camping in a cool place is way better than camping in a city. Camping on just land where you can actually breathe, wander around, and stay posted up, way better than anything else. Personal favorite is Baja. I try to go there every year. I suggest you go to Baja in a van. So yeah, I think that's pretty big. And tip number 4, have a hobby. There's no way around it. If you don't have a hobby, it's going to suck. because I feel like a lot of people that don't have hobbies end up living in a van and like staring at their screen. And it's like, that is not why you are in a van. You know, that hobby could be photography. It could be hiking, camping, backpacking, taking videos, enjoying campfire. Literally anything and everything outside. I mean, you could be a painter. You could be a skater. You can be a biker. All those things. I mean, like, honestly, like, all of them work. Like, why would you just not? I mean, having a hobby is just good for life. It's also really good for van life because if you're alone, it could be hit or miss. And so there are 4 tips for van life. I hope you enjoy.